To the 10th Power is fondly remembered as one of the best Power Ranger team-ups. But is it really? Let's find out. The episode opens up with Deviant obtaining some data discs. The same data discs that the Psycho Rangers are on. We already have a major issue. At the end of Ghosts in the Machine, Astronema got a hold of the data discs, meaning that they were on her ship. That leaves us with a multitude of questions, such as, how did the Z-Wave not destroy them, or at the very least not destroy the evil contained within the discs? The wave passed through the entire ship, so there's no way the discs would be out of its reach. How did some random alien get a hold of them? The ship landed on Earth. Wouldn't government officials try to take possession of it? Wouldn't KO-35 officials not try and take possession of it as well? How did the random alien even know about the discs in the first place? Presumably, only Ecliptor and Astronema knew about the discs as far as we know.
I feel I was denied critical, need-to-know information.
Also, apparently, Deviant knew the Psycho Rangers.
Good to see you again, my friends.
That's pretty weird, considering he was never once in the same room as the Psycho Rangers. He wasn't even in space to begin with. And to even further show how bizarre this line is, once the Psychos are revived, they don't bother to even acknowledge Deviant as someone they know. Anyways, the Psycho Rangers are resurrected and sent out to capture the Power Rangers. We also see a mysterious robed figure coming across the empty box. Psycho Red beats the shit out of Leo until the robed figure shows up to save him. We just saw blue and pink super speed to stop Kai and Kendricks from morphing. You're telling me Red couldn't have done the same thing? He had plenty of time to react.
Dare such insolence! They're not going to get away from me!
Well, Red, they very clearly do, and you don't use that super speed of yours to cover any significant ground. Anywho's, it turns out that the robed figure is Andros, which even as a kid we all knew, so I don't really see the reason to keep him covered up.
You're Andros. The Red Ranger. I was there. The day you and the Rangers saved the Earth.
So, Leo knows who Andros is, which makes sense given that he saved the entire universe, but doesn't know who Psycho Red is.
Who are you?
You don't know me? I'm Psycho Red.
This is pretty strange considering the Astro Megaship was turned into a museum all about the Space Rangers. This would have included their battles with the Psycho Rangers. Very tough and significant battles, mind you. I don't believe for a single second that Leo wouldn't have at least heard about them in passing, especially given how respected the Power Rangers are as well as their history. Another more important question I have is how in the hell did Andros even know that the Psycho Rangers were on Terra Venture? Assuming we grant him off-screen knowledge about the discs being taken off of Earth and where they were going to be sold, there's nothing to even imply that Andros would know to come to Terra Venture, which makes saving Leo's life even more convenient and a bit contrived. Because instead of just coming in last minute, which could potentially be excused on its own, we now have to assume he managed to be there at the right time with no known method of tracking the Psycho Rangers down, meaning he just lucked into finding Red moments before he could take out Leo. They go to the Astro Megaship, and here it's revealed that Andros locked the in-space morphers in a vault, which is fucking stupid on its own. What if they're needed? What if the Earth is in a similar situation like in Countdown to Destruction? Or if a new villain in general shows up? Hell, what if you need your powers, Andros? You'd have to waste time going to Earth in order to get them. Also, where is Zane's morpher? He gets to keep his powers on him, but the others, including yourself, don't? Actually, where is Zane? He would have just as much of a vested interest in stopping the Psycho Rangers, and it would increase your odds of beating them. On a more positive note, it is nice to see Alpha and Andros in the same room again. That's neat. They head off to an abandoned industrial plant, which I'm not sure why a space colony would have an abandoned industrial plant, but whatever. It turns out that the rest of the Power Rangers are being held here to bait Leo out. Not sure why you didn't just kill them when you got them. You could still bait out Leo, but you don't need them alive to do that. And even if you did, getting rid of 4 Rangers would pretty much ensure your victory in the long run, as you'd only have to deal with 2 Rangers after that. Yes, Mike is a Power Ranger. He uses the Morphing Grid to transform, he has a Zord and a Megazord form. It doesn't matter if he isn't wearing spandex, Lewis. What was I talking about again? Oh yeah, the episode. Leo and Andros serve as a distraction so Mike can free the other Rangers. This is something that the villains should have predicted since Mike seemingly didn't come with Leo and Andros, something the villains don't even notice for whatever reason. Could have at least left Villamax to guard them instead of a single Stingwinger. The rest of the Space Rangers then show up. I will get into the logistical issues of them being here a little later, but now it's time for some praise because this is the best morphing sequence in any Power Rangers team up, save for Forever Red. And it's an incredibly simple but highly effective use of each theme song. The In Space theme picks up in the middle of the high points and rides through the guitar solo.
We thought you could use a little help.
All right.
And then, just when it feels like the song is about to come down, the Lost Galaxy theme picks up in the middle of its high point.
Go! Galactic!
It's so fucking good! Still gets me hyped to this very day. The final fight in terms of choreography is excellent, fast-paced, and a great use of teamwork. However, once you begin to think about it a little bit, it falls apart. The Psychos just forget about a lot of their useful abilities, like going intangible, using their super speed, shooting lightning, opening up portals, or going into their monster forms and going giant-sized. They can even goddamn teleport. You can pull the kids show card all you want, but that doesn't change the fact that continuity exists. This episode acknowledges past events, so there's no excuse for any inconsistencies. The Psycho Rangers are destroyed, and we get an explanation on how the Space Rangers knew what was happening.
How did you know?
Well, Alpha sent out a distress signal.
Just doing my job.
A simple but effective explanation, if we assume that the Space Rangers even had the means of picking it up, which is never specified. But at the very least, it is an explanation on how they even knew what was going on. What isn't explained is how they even got here. They have no access to the Galaxy Gliders because they don't have their powers, no Astro Megaship, no teleportation, nothing. Not even a mention of Nasada, which would have honestly been enough. They've helped the Rangers in the past before, and they'd most certainly do it again. A single line of dialogue would fix this massive issue, but I guess that's just not in the budget. It then turns out that not all the Psychos died, as Pink manages to survive. How did Pink survive? Shut up, you stupid child, don't ask questions. To the 10th Power is not very good. The continuity issues already kneecap it, but the lack of any meaningful character interactions is downright criminal. And it's not like they didn't have enough time, because the next episode continues the story with Psycho Pink going after a Super McMuffin. There's no excuse to not have Andros and Leo talk about how they both lost siblings and how great it was to finally get them back. We could even get Leo and TJ talking about the stresses of being a leader and how TJ feels like a failure due to the events of Chase into Space. One of the biggest appeals isn't just seeing how two Ranger teams synergize in a fight, but also how they would interact. Unfortunately, we don't get anything close to a meaningful interaction. Most of the episode is just plot. Granted, the plot is very streamlined, leaving very little fat and getting straight to the point, so there is that minor positive. It's just a shame that the writing is so poor, filled with holes and continuity issues that are so easily avoidable. I am kind of bummed that one of my favorite episodes of Power Rangers turned out this way. Especially one as historically significant as To the 10th Power. While not the first team-up, it is the blueprint for what all other team-ups would structure themselves after. And it's a damn shame it hasn't held up very well. Thank you all for watching, and until next time.